Now that Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak is out, we're here to share with you guys some tips that you need to know while you're playing. There's new features that have been added into the game, as well as things that you might not initially know unless you played for a bit. So we've rounded together these tips to hopefully help you guys out. So do click like down below to support the video and subscribe for all the other Sunbreak guides that we will have for you guys over the next couple days. And make sure to put in the comments if you have any tips for the new Sunbreak expansion, and we'll all learn together as a community. I'm Paradise Central, and let's start off with the new buddy REACON points. You may already be familiar with unlocking the campsite locations to fast travel there while out in a hunt. Well, in Sunbreak there's a new system called REACON points. These are similar to camps in that you can find them out in the field while hunting. However, instead of a normal camp, you instead assign one buddy per map to hold that position, and then while you're out on a hunt, you can use that spot once per hunt to fast travel there. This allows you to quickly get to a non-camp part of the map quite a lot quicker than without them. But remember, it's only once per hunt, so make sure not to waste it when you do choose to fast travel to that point. It's worth noting that you don't have to reassign a buddy each time you use it. Once it's set, it will stay there. But again, it's only available once per hunt to use as a fast travel point, so you definitely don't want to waste it. Next up, we'll talk about the new Dango hopping skewer system and the Dango levels. In Sunbreak, there's this new system for Dangos that lets you use a hopping skewer to level up or down your selected Dangos. In the default mode, you will have Dangos all at level 2. However, with this new skewer, you can select it to change the levels of your Dangos from 4 at the top, 3 in the middle, and 1 at the bottom. This means you can put your most important Dangos in this order, top, middle, bottom, to get bigger benefits from them while keeping your least important Dango buff at the bottom, as it does get downgraded to level 1. Make sure to inspect the different Dangos to see what they do at different level points. For example, the Moxie Dango at level 1 is only a chance to activate the prevention of fainting after that certain threshold, while at level 2 it's guaranteed, but both levels 3 and 4 additionally grant you extra health recovery once Moxie has been activated. So for something like Moxie, you definitely don't want it to be level 1, but it's different per Dango, so make sure to check them out for your particular build. Next up, let's talk about one of my favourite things, the COHOOT nest. You may remember this from the base version of Rise. It's a great way to get extra resources between hunts, so long as you remember to go and collect them. Every hunt you do adds another item to the nest for you to gather, but if you leave it too long, you'll reach the maximum number of loot that can be held within the nest, and then it will stop building up and you'll be missing out. So make sure to visit the COHOOT nest every 3 to 4 hunts so you don't miss out on any good items. You can find one in Elgato by going where I'm going on screen now. It's atop this little tower, and once you found it, it's not too hard to find again. You can get things like golden eggs that sell for some good zenny, Lagni apples to help you with a variety of in-game systems like the Buddy Dojo, or even the new Eureka corns that you can use to increase your buddy's maximum memory slots. Here's an extra juicy tip for you guys: you can still loot the base Rise COHOOT nest, so when you've done a few hunts and you've decided it's time to go and get your loot, make sure to visit both the Elgato one and the base Rise one for some extra items. Next, let's talk about Rampage skills being changed. The old Rampage system is now completely changed in Sunbreak. The Rampage skills themselves have now been changed to Rampage decorations that require a variety of monster parts to craft. So you'll unlock more of these as you go through the game and defeat all the different monsters that Sunbreak has to offer. Weapons now have a Rampage decoration slot to use these new decorations in, so you may want to consider this when looking through different weapons for your build, as the Rampage decoration slot will affect the Rampage skill that you can use. We already have a full guide on this system already on the channel that you can see on screen now, so make sure to check that out from the description down below if you want to learn more. Next up, we want to tell you to keep an eye out for secret areas. Much like in base Rise in the Flooded Forest map, where on the pyramid there was a wall that could be broken with a Mega Barrel Bomb to access a room with loot, in Sunbreak there are some areas that you can also use Mega Barrel Bombs to find something quite cool. Here's one that's located in the jungle map that when you access it, it lets you wirebug literally all the way across to the other side of the map to a secret little island. We're sure that there's more of these, so definitely keep an eye out and let us know if you find any in the comments down below. Next up, let's talk about talismans, because you no longer have to worry about accidentally melding your favourite ones that you meant to keep, because there's a new in-game feature that lets you lock them so that you won't do this. Just go to your equipment box, select your talismans, press the prompt, which for the Switch is the plus button, to lock that talisman so you'll never delete it or accidentally meld it ever again. Next up is the training room, which has some new options. The training room in Sunbreak unfortunately is the same one as base Rise, however we at least have some new options to play around with that might help you practice or test out your new builds. You can change the direction the dummy faces as well as the different types of blights that it will shoot, so it might be worth jumping into the training room, trying out these new options to test out against your new Master Rank builds. Next up, let's talk about the new baby owl. Poogie is unfortunately not in Sunbreak, and although this is a design choice that I personally will never be able to forgive, we do at least have a replacement of sorts. Up top on this very high point in Elgato, you can see a COHOOT nest with a tiny little white owl that you can actually pet. So if you want a definitely 100% guaranteed chance to get a mantle every single hunt, make sure to pet this COHOOT every single time you're in Elgato. Of course I'm joking, but let's now move on to setting up your Switch skills. You may already be well aware of the new Switch skill swap system with the red and blue Switch scroll. However, it's now very important to set up your Switch skill presets before going out to a hunt on these two different coloured scrolls so that you know what you're doing when you're fighting. It's great to experiment and test with what works best for you. The two pages could have the same skills, they could be completely different on each scroll, or they could have slight variations. Personally, I found that having the same Switch skills but different Silkbind attacks on each page has been a great way to learn this new system as well as the new Silkbind attacks. Additionally, the Switch skill swap works insanely well with the Evade Extender skill, as Soxybear showed off in this tweet. Next up, let's talk about backroom deals. When doing your Argosy, you don't want to miss out on this new feature called Backroom Deals. You can activate this per buddy that's in the Argosy, and it will convert some of the items that they are set to gather to instead be a variety of different items from the Backroom Deals selection. These can include things like locked treasure chests, MP accelerants that let you instantly complete a talisman melding pot, or even melding puddings that you can use in place of monster parts at the melding pot to get some nice talismans without having to waste those parts. So definitely make sure to pay attention to this feature if you want to get some of these new items. Of course, also make sure that you're making use of all of the different buddy systems, like the buddy dojo that will level up all of your buddies so you can have maximum level buddies in your Argosy, in your REACON points, in your Meowcenaries, or even out with you on a hunt. We've just recently got to MR 100, which means we now have access to absolutely everything in the game. This means we can bring you guys some cool information about the end game, about different features and mechanics within the game that aren't initially easy to understand. We'll of course make these videos available to you guys on the channel, so make sure to subscribe down below if you want to see them. I'm really enjoying Sunbreak so far. I think there's a lot of fun to be had. I particularly like some of the new monsters. The grind to gain MR is actually quite slow if it's your sole purpose, so my recommendation to you guys is play the game at your own pace, farm out monsters, make some mix sets, upgrade your weapons and gear as you go along. This will not only make you a better hunter in the long term, and also make your hunts more easy because you'll have better gear as you go through, but it will also mean that you're banking more MR behind the scenes, so that when you eventually get to the next MR break, it'll be even quicker to get to the following one to unlock more stuff and new monsters, more armor sets and gear. Please let me know what you think of Sunbreak down in the comments, as well as of course putting any tips if you have any other tips for people. I hope you're having a fantastic day, so make sure to click like and subscribe down below if you did enjoy this video, and the videos on screen now we think you will really enjoy. So definitely click them, give them a chance, and let us know what you think in the comments.